here we have further confirmation of wild corruption, abuse of power, weaponization of government in a very dangerous fashion. Kash Patel's been in the news because he was over at the Olympics celebrating. But he's also been in the news for a much more significant reason, which is the fact that records obtained by the FBI or released by the FBI or leaked, I don't know how they came about, show that Kash Patel and Susie Wiles, the chief of staff to the president, had their phone records rifled through by the Biden administration. And they were hidden in a way that made it difficult to find that was going on. They were both private citizens at the time, but Susie was President Trump's campaign chief at the time. Here's the big story by Reuters. The FBI subpoenaed records of phone calls made by Kash Patel and Susie Wiles, now the FBI director and White House chief of staff, when they were both private citizens in 2022 and 2023 during the federal probe of Donald Trump, Patel told Reuters on Wednesday. Patel portrayed the seizing of his phone records by the FBI and efforts to conceal them as an example of overreach by unelected government officials under Biden, a theme often repeated by President Trump. So there you have Reuters trying to undermine it as a political complaint as opposed to a substantive, meritorious complaint, which is what it is. And Kash tells Reuters it is outrageous and deeply alarming that the previous FBI leadership secretly subpoenaed my own phone records along with those of now White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, using flimsy pretexts and burying the entire process in prohibited case files designed to evade all oversight. Prohibited case files, so that was kind of a way of secreting the records from a typical availability within the FBI. You needed to literally know where to look. It's like burying something deep in the computer files in a way purposely to hide their existence to other FBI officials. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. And it's even worse when it comes to what the spying on Susie Wiles involved. Let's see let me give you the detail on that. In 2023, the FBI recorded a phone call between Wiles and her attorney. Her attorney. According to two FBI officials, Wiles' attorney was aware that the call was being recorded and consented to it, but Susie Wiles was not. I just don't understand how anyone would think that was appropriate. If indeed that report is correct. I don't believe it went down the way they're suggesting here. I don't trust a darn thing the FBI says. Even when they're exposing misconduct, I don't trust they're exposing everything that went on. Now, separately, Kash fired about 10 FBI agents and support staff, maybe 12, tied to the Mar-a-Lago raid, according to reports. Not nearly enough. But here we have further confirmation of wild corruption, abuse of power, weaponization of government in a very dangerous fashion. Now, there's been previous disclosures that hundreds of conservatives were also secretly targeted by this gang. Of course, Trump was. You had U.S. senators targeted. They were targeting members of Congress, the Speaker of the House. Judicial Watch has been trying to get additional information, been getting the runaround from the FBI on the Arctic frost, which was the underlying investigations that were initiated by the Biden gang to target Trump and then taken up like a baton by Jack Smith. And of course, I knew this of this abuse personally because I suffered it. Judicial Watch suffered it. They came to my house. I haven't forgotten the day because it was a big day for me. I had skin cancer surgery. They did a good job. You probably can't see the scar. But I had literally just come home from skin cancer surgery. And I'm lying on the couch, recovering. And it was in the evening. It was around 6:30, so it was nighttime. I'm like, oh, come on, who's knocking on my door this time of day? No one else was around to answer the door. I went and answered it, and it was 2 FBI agents giving me a subpoena. And then later they subpoenaed Judicial Watch records. And supposedly as a witness, I was going to have an interview with them. And, I asked me what you want to ask me. And then they scheduled the meeting, and then they pulled it because Jack Smith wanted to abuse me by bringing me before the grand jury. Completely unethical and really never happens in federal investigations. And I was hauled in before the grand jury and harassed for 4 hours by 3 prosecutors on Smith's team, arguing with me about my tweets, First Amendment issues related to the elections. It's not a pleasant experience. I pushed back. It was outrageous. And I can't say I'm the only, obviously, President Trump, they wanted to put in jail. But they were harassing me because I was advocating for the rule of law and making sure that Trump was not being abused, making sure that election laws were being followed, making sure elections weren't being stolen. Completely political in terms of the attack on me. And separately, they're going after the entire Republican Party political establishment, their grassroots leaders, their state leaders. We've never seen anything like it before in American history. And so this week, it's just more icing on the cake. I don't want to use the word cake because it's much less pleasant than that. I mean, Susie Wiles, literally, they were listening in on her phone call with her lawyer. And I have reason to believe, I generally know, Judicial Watch was under the targeting of the Biden Justice Department and FBI as well, beyond even my witness testimony. Why? Because we were suing them to get information about the abuses of Trump. And what's been done on all this? Other than Judicial Watch's lawsuits for accountability? Not much. Some agents have been reassigned. Some agents have been fired. Some have left, retired. They saw the writing on the wall. But not enough. The FBI has, 12,000 employees? You know how many FBI agents have been fired, even with the last batch? 148. 148 employees have been fired as a result of what happened. Do you think that's enough? I don't. Is there a criminal investigation going on? If so, who's running it? Is the FBI investigating the FBI? Is the Justice Department investigating the Justice Department? I doubt it. And even if they were, you can't trust the investigation. This is a further demonstration the FBI is irredeemably compromised and corrupted and can't be saved. There may be elements of what the FBI does that need to be reserved or preserved, taken up by maybe other government agencies, but I would just shatter and scatter the powers of the FBI as appropriate to other agencies. The Justice Department should be dramatically curtailed as well. I mean, they talk about the FBI subpoenaing records. The FBI doesn't subpoena records. It's the Justice Department that does it in partnership with the FBI. The FBI doesn't go to courts by itself. They do it under the guidance of U.S. attorneys, assistant U.S. attorneys, etc. So the Justice Department's embroiled in this as well. This is why I've been advising publicly President Trump to appoint a special prosecutor, a presidential prosecutor that reports to him, that's separate and apart from the FBI and the Justice Department, to investigate this abuse. It's been over a year. There's been no substantial advancement of any criminal inquiry into any of this. Other than through Judicial Watch. And I appreciate the releases of information, but that's only a part of what the FBI and Justice Department are obligated to do here. And the fact that these investigations haven't proceeded apace is a confirmation that there needs to be a third party doing the investigation. Let me be clear. The FBI can't investigate the FBI. The Justice Department can't investigate the Justice Department. So the president should run the investigations out of the White House with an attorney, prosecutors reporting to him. There are plenty of ways to get it done. And of course, maybe Congress can push for and end the abuses of the FBI with the approach I'm suggesting. Erase it as an agency. Whatever powers that they think the federal government needs in terms of law enforcement, transfer it as appropriate to other agencies. And the Justice Department, you know, it used to be the Attorney General of the United States was just an advisor to the president. Did very little litigation. But now it's like the super prosecutor, federal prosecutor out of Washington, D.C. that has this extensive power that the founders never really envisioned. And I think we need to rethink that. But certainly the Justice Department is a disaster. And I'm not condemning Pam Bondi over it or Kash Patel over the FBI, but I think they need to be cognizant of the fact that no one trusts the agencies. And they need to take advantage of the fact that the American people elected President Trump and empowered them to pursue the type of reformist ideas that I'm talking about. Now, you know, I say what I say. I understand there aren't a lot of people in the FBI or even the Trump administration that may agree with me. But I know a lot of you agree with me. And some of them agree with me without publicly saying they agree with me, I can tell you that. So we've got our own independent FOIAs that are fought by or fought over with this FBI and this Justice Department on these issues. We've got comprehensive state investigations into the concurrent abuse by their allies in the various states with Democrat politician prosecutors. And unless there's a secret investigation going on, I don't believe there is because I haven't seen any evidence of it, I will say that Judicial Watch has a much more comprehensive investigation privately in the public interest of the abuses targeting Trump's team, President Trump himself, and countless Americans than anything the Justice Department and the FBI is doing. Because the records they release, I applaud that they're leaking to the Reuters here. I applaud that they send some material to Congress. It's only a portion of the material they have, though. So I'm getting frustrated. Are you frustrated? I'm sure President Trump's frustrated because he's going to be the first one they come after. Because the FBI is still going to be the same FBI structurally, philosophically. When an enemy of President Trump comes in as a president and basically just says, go to town, guys. Go do what you were doing under Jack Smith and Merrick Garland and the Obama gang and the deep state. Just go and do it again. You know what to do. They don't even know. They don't even need to be told what to do. I mean, they're telling us what they're going to do. They promise to prosecute anyone who dared to hold anyone accountable in the prior administrations over the abuses. So time's a wasting. I mean, firing 138 people out of an FBI operation of 12,000, unimpressive. You know how many, you know what, they call them RIFs, reductions in force, which other agencies have used to cut out the dead wood in the deep state, the bureaucrats who shouldn't be there, wasting our money and such. You know how many the FBI has cut out in terms of wasteful employees, reduction in forces? One. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So you can be sure your Judicial Watch will keep on our own independent heavy lifting on these key issues. But part of that heavy lifting means encouraging the administration to achieve some justice and protect the American people from what's going to happen again once the abusers take power again, and they will. It's just, you know, our natural political life is that you're going to get people who come back, and the opposition has promised they're going to do it again. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.